Dia New Moons. I'm Josie the Mustang, the Afro-Latina goddess of witches, and you're aligned with the frequency of the luanovapodcast. And in today's collective reading, I'm going to do something that I got a lot of positive feedback about. When I'm done with your collective reading, I'm going to be channeling another message from Goddess Aphrodite. Now, I have talked about Santa Muerte many times on the show, but for those who are new to my show, I have always been a child of Santa Muerte, and I just wasn't aware of it until I became an adult. So I'm heavily connected with Santa, and I'm a child of hers, as many of my listeners are as well. And so I want to make something clear. You can absolutely work with more than one deity. Make sure they have their own altars, unless you don't have the space to do so. If you don't have the space to do so, do whatever you need to do to corner off their part of your altar, such as maybe you use a bookshelf so that each deity has their own part of that bookshelf. Things like that. And you don't have to work with any deities whatsoever, okay? But as somebody that is a new devotee of Aphrodite, I'm not new to working with deities whatsoever. This would be the fifth. I'm sorry. Yeah, hold on, wait. Let me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, no. The sixth time that I've worked with a deity. Santa Muerte ended up being the permanent deity in my life, and Aphrodite is now the second permanent deity in my life. So I have chosen to walk with them for the rest of my life, and I'm very happy about it. I love that for me. And also, if you're new to my show, I even used to be a former Christian. So, hopefully you're not one of those Bible thumpers who's about to, make whatever assumptions that you have. I have no problem with Jesus, or I do have a problem with a lot of his followers, but I don't have a problem with Jesus whatsoever. And I just wanted to say all of that before I get to the end of the show, and then I channel what messages I have from Aphrodite. She is a deity that can be a lot more outspoken than other deities. For instance, those of you who are the children of Orishas, you understand that their messages are oftentimes shorter, and because they have a very strong cultural significance, that they're very careful about the types of messages that they give you, because it's like, who are you sharing this with? That kind of a vibe. And I really respect that. And so this is why most of us that are real witches and do channel certain energies, is why we side-eye people who claim that they channel certain deities, because we're like, no, you didn't. You did it. First of all, that's not even part of your culture. So just know that this is something that I'm not new to, and that I've been a witch my whole life. Now, a practicing witch, I have been for about 11 years now, but I have actually been a witch my whole life. My great-grandmother was a witch, and there were witches on both sides of my family, so it's deep in my lineage and always will be. And ironically enough, the song that I did not know would do the best on Spotify and it is called Cast the Spell. And also, new listeners to my show who might not be familiar with my music, I am also a producer, a songwriter, a composer, and I wouldn't call myself a singer, but in every song that you hear, it is my vocals that have been used for what is called vocal cloning, and variations of my vocals are used, and that goes more into the programming side. Ask computer programmers how I do it, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. Music programmers, things of that nature, they will understand more of what I mean. And fun fact, your favorite artist also uses the same technology. But just wanted to let that be known, because one thing that you're never going to do, just because I write manifestation music, is lump my music in with AI. No. It's not the same whatsoever. I have no issue with using AI for what it's for, which, is as a helpful tool, the same way that your algorithm is AI, the same way that the Maps app on your phone is AI. AI's always been around, and it's always been in music. However, I wanted to make that clear, because I noticed that when it comes to these manifestation songs I'm hearing, that it's very obvious that they are all AI and no creativity whatsoever. It is just ChatGPT writing random lyrics that, or actually I should say affirmations, not lyrics, that are just thrown together. And that is not how you write a song, guys, but all shade. But I wanted to say all of that before we get into today's reading. And since I do have so many new listeners, I'm going over a lot of things that a lot of new people don't know. I have been reading tarot for over 17 years now. And as far as taking clients, I didn't always take tarot clients, but I've always known tarot. It is heavy in my blood. And for those who have asked me many times, my great-grandmother, no, she was not a tarot reader. She read tea leaves. She was a healer. And if you are familiar with Mexican culture, then you know that is heavily revered and feared in Mexico. So she was a little bit of both. But I have talked long enough in this intro, new moons. Before we get started with today's episode, I want to give a few updates that were in the last episode, but I want to just go over them really quickly for those of you who didn't hear the Who Are You Doing All of This For episode. What I'm going to... Oh, hold on. That's not the episode. It's a different one. I'm looking at the wrong list, guys. But either way, let me just go over the updates before you hear the tarot disclaimer. So, Court of the New Moon will remain for the rest of this season, but it will be going away after that. I don't know about forever, but it will be going away for now. Now, there is actually another variation that I had in mind that I will likely bring out here and there in season 5, and I'll talk more about it then. I don't want to get into it now, but it's also a lot of fun, just like Court of the New Moon is fun. I didn't want to have to put Court of the New Moon on hold, but if you've ever been a podcaster or creator, you know that you're going to venture into a lot of different areas of your creativity. And sometimes it works, and sometimes you just don't have the time for it. It's not that it's not working. And so although I've gotten a ton of positive feedback about Court of the New Moon, I just don't have the time anymore, especially with me writing music and that being another venture of Lua Nova, okay? Because Lua Nova is a lot more than a podcast. It's a whole brand. So that's why I bought the name and all of that, but more on that another day when we're talking about business. Okay. All right, New Moons. Let me see. Hold on. Wait. I said I had more updates for you that I went over already. Let me think. Oh, the codes of manifestation. I listened to your feedback, and it's not that you don't like it. It's that you don't really find it that relevant to the show. And so I will be doing away with codes of manifestation. You got to hear the last one in last Monday's episode, but that will be the last one. Okay. And as far as the text from the universe, that will not go in tarot readings. Okay. That, unless I just am like, I feel called to also pull an angel number for you. Now, if I do, then it will be, but it's not going to be set in stone. The regular episodes where I'm teaching you about manifestation, or we're just talking about manifestation, those will always have the text from the universe. That's a permanent segment, as well as the dance segment, okay, where you get to dance to my music. All right. So I think I went over everything. If I forgot anything, listen to last Monday's episode. I can't remember the title of it off the top of my head, and it's not in front of me, which is not my team's fault. It's my fault, because I normally do have all of my episodes pulled up just in case I need to reference them now. But hold on. Where's my iPad? Oh no. I might have more notes from my iPad, such as, that's okay. Let me go grab it. One moment, New Moons.
By continuing to listen, you are consenting to a collective tarot reading by Josie the Mustang. With over 17 years of experience, Josie approaches tarot with intention and respect. She is not accepting private readings at this time. This message is collective in nature and may or may not resonate. Take what speaks to you and release the rest. Ao continuar ouvindo, você está consentindo com uma leitura coletiva de tarô feita por Josie the Mustang. Com mais de 17 anos de experiência, Josie aborda o tarô com intenção e respeito. No momento, ela não está aceitando leituras particulares. Esta mensagem é de natureza coletiva e pode ou não ressoar com você. Aproveite o que falar com você e libere o resto.
I am hungry, so if I cut this message short, don't be mad, okay? I'm starving. I need a little turkey sandwich or something. I need a little something. I know this air conditioner's not about to come on. Why does it always try to come on whenever I'm about to do a reading? Okay, new moons. There was one card that just flashed and I'm trying to find it. So I already like where this reading is going for the week. So we are having some quick manifestations, starting off with the 8 of Wands. And so whatever it is that you've been trying to manifest, I can tell that you've been using this Aries energy to do so. So keep in mind that Aries didn't just start off their season. What does a ram do? It rams things. That's what it's doing. It's literally the fieriest energy ever. And so a lot of fear-mongering astrologists will tell you that this is a time to be careful and watch out. I'm going to tell you, look, I'm not an astrologist. I'm a tarot reader and I'm also a witch. And one thing that we work with is energy. And there's no energy in the world that you can't work with in your favor. So this 8 of Wands energy tells me that you know that. And I love to see it. Oh, and it just keeps getting better with the 6 of Pentacles. I love to see it because you're not just thinking about you. And that's what I love. That's what I like about my listeners, is that you understand that thinking about just you, how does this affect me? Not how did this affect this person? That will help you. You can absolutely manifest even if you're a terrible person. Don't get me wrong. You can absolutely manifest if you're selfish. You can absolutely manifest if you're egotistical. However, how will that work out when everybody hates you and you still hate yourself? So that's all I'm saying, is that the 6 of Pentacles energy tells me that you understand that. I don't need to go any further. That you're like, I'm not somebody who doesn't see how things affect everyone else, who doesn't think about how things affect everybody else. I'm considerate of how things affect other people and not just me. And so I love that. I think that's an important thing to see in this particular reading because the manifestations are coming very quickly. Aries ran in the door and said, this isn't just the beginning of the zodiac season again. This is the beginning of everything for us, for all of us, because this is Aries energy thinking about the collective and not just itself. Okay. So think of the Aries that you know in your life, even if they're an unhealed Aries. Instead of them saying, this is how this affects me, this is how it affects all of us, so let's get moving. That's the energy of this week, okay? And so, to close out this reading makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense to me, is the 4 of Swords. And Spirit, you know what? I feel called to mention this card too. So let's put this one to the side because I'm not going to tell you what the 4th card is. And look at my birdies, the eastern bluebirds. They are visiting right now as I'm doing this reading. So starting off with the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands is about rapid movement. And anytime that when it comes to manifestation, it's the number 1 card that I want to see, personally. I want to see this card above every other card in the entire tarot deck. Because that tells me we're already working with the right energy. There's not a lot I'm going to have to say here. I'm not going to need to give you a lot of advice. There's not going to be a lot of hand holding. You get it. Okay. And so I'm going to leave that right there. I don't need to go farther into the 8 of Wands energy. We're already starting off with the spark that I just described. Moving on to the 6 of Pentacles. The 6 of Pentacles tells me that whenever that manifestation comes, that Ferrari, that yacht, that hamster, that new job, that wedding proposal, you somehow still find the time to help other people with their manifestations or to make other people feel included. And although the universe doesn't respond to good or bad, what it does respond to is energy. It responds to frequency. And so every single time that you're giving to somebody else and you're thinking about how somebody else feels, what you are drawing more of is a higher vibration. That is your highest self. And so what I'm seeing in the 6 of Pentacles is highest self energy. Heavy highest self energy, especially of course for you Aries, but I'm picking up on Taurus too, because Taurus likes luxury. story. Taurus likes the best of the best. Remember, they are ruled by the planet of Venus. So whenever you think of somebody that has heavy Venus placements in their chart, or that where Venus is important in their chart, such as those of us with a Libra stellium, those of you who are a Libra sun, those of you who are a Taurus sun, or you have Libra or Taurus in your big three, or other parts of your birth chart all around, such as Venus, things such as Jupiter, that tells me I easily expand whatever it is that I want, such as if I want a job promotion, that job promotion comes with perks. And I didn't even try. I just showed up. That's your energy. And that's heavily your energy this week. Okay? And so Aries and Taurus, not only is it time for you to take those goals that you've been executing, it's time to expand them even further. Okay? I don't want you to just say, well, I'm already doing these goals. I didn't just write them down, Virgo, Capricorn, like you guys do. I executed them. You guys are afraid to. Well, thank you for calling us out, but also expand those goals. Add to those goals. You want to go far, go further. Once you get further, go even farther out. Okay? It's never going to be enough. And that's coming from a Virgo who we never think anything's enough. I could manifest, and I have manifested many things overnight, but tomorrow I could manifest, let me think. I'm going to think of something that doesn't really matter to me, because then it actually will happen. I could manifest hearing from the CEO of Saratoga, and just a quick thank you saying, hey, I love that you love us. Here's some more Saratoga. Tomorrow, as a Virgo, I'll say, that's amazing. What's next for me? What can I do next? How can I help somebody else next? Because, okay, I did that for me, and let me do something for somebody else. That's your energy. Expansion. Okay? And so because of that, you got a lot going on, friend. My goodness. When was the last time you sat down somewhere? When was the last time that you saw your couch? Okay? And I don't mean passing by it. When was the last time you in your bed had a chat? Okay? Because, friend, I'm not going to hold your hand when I say this, because I am a Virgo and I don't like germs. I am going to say this to you with my perfectly pink glittery nails. I am going to wiggle these sparkly nails at you when I say this very nicely. I need you to sit down, just temporarily, not for long, because you got too much to do. Give your 15-minute break. Okay? 15-minute smoke break. I don't smoke. I think a lot of you don't either. We're just going to call it that. 15-minute smoke break. Stand outside, go into nature, sit in silence, meditate, journal, talk to your deities, go to your altar, talk to your ancestors. You get what I mean? 15 minutes. I need you to take that break, because this card is the Four of Swords. And so Four of Swords tells me that, yeah, it's time for you to, after all of these goals keep happening, ding, 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 just like my song Text from the Universe, it's time for you to take a moment, but only a moment, okay? Because honestly, you got more things to do. Like I just told you, you're going to expand on those goals. There's more for you to do here. There's not a lot of sitting back and relaxing time. But even if you only take maybe 10 to 15 minutes a day for yourself, I need you to do that. Okay? I need you to do that for me. If you're like, I really can't, just do it for me. Please. Because you do have so much going on, and I don't want you to get sidetracked, and I don't want you to be the next card, the devil. Now, a lot of time when people see the devil card, my goodness, the way that the media has portrayed tarot is hilarious to begin with. But when they see the devil card in a tarot reading, the way that they start fear-mongering and being afraid, I need you all to understand something for those of us who read tarot. A lot of us, not all of us, because many people have their own beliefs and they're entitled to that. A lot of us don't even believe in Satan in the Christian way that Satan has been portrayed. Okay? And so when I see the devil card, I'm just like, well, that doesn't represent the Christian idea of what the devil is. at all. What it actually represents is your shadow self. It represents the darker side of you that still needs to heal from the trauma, that's pretty much it. The part of you where your nervous system is still out of whack. Where yes, your goals are being achieved and they're being achieved quickly and they're being achieved easily, but there's this other side of you that is beginning to doubt yourself, that is beginning to say, I don't know if I have what it takes, okay? And so when I see this card, especially because it's at the end of the reading, it's a warning that yes, you're going to achieve all your goals and expand on them. However, if you're not careful and you don't do the healing and you do just shit all over everybody and you don't listen to me or anybody else that actually knows what they're talking about and is trying to help you, then what you're going to do is keep falling into negative patterns repeatedly. Okay. And so my job is to warn you of, hey, this is what I'm seeing coming up for you. I would like for you to not do that. I would like for you to eliminate this devil card altogether. You have to face your shadow self. You can't hide from healing. You can manifest whatever it is you want without healing. Sure. I've talked about this. I have mentioned to you Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. These are people who are awful, terrible human beings. So are their followers. So are the people that like them. These are people who are complete egomaniacs that are great at manifesting, however, they never healed. And so what do? They bleed all over everybody. And so I am asking you, as I have many times before, heal first. Get that nervous system in check. I've talked about this in depth in season 3. And of course, I've talked about it in season 4 as well. But I need you to listen this time because your goals aren't waiting on you anymore. The universe is accelerating. So you have to move with it, all right? All right, new moons. That is your message for the week. One moment.
Mueve la colita, new moons! This is the Sacral Chakra segment, a brief musical interlude designed to heal your nervous system. The following track is an original work written, produced, composed, and partially performed by Josie the Mustang. All rights reserved. Let's dance!
God is more activated, I'm aligned and magnetic. Kick back, relax, another text pops on my screen. Ding ding, that's money coming to me. I blink blink and my bank deposits looking like a social security number. Grab your drinks, we're about to be outside this summer. This is Empress card energy. This is prosecco luxury. My chakras are aligned. I'm looking extra fine. Wealth is my frequency. If I want it, it's mine. Ding ding ding, another text from the universe. Ping ping ping, watch the funds disperse. It's safe for me to be financially free. Ring ring ring, money's calling me. Nails done so I can count my funds, looking pretty. High rise apartment overlooking the city. Happiness raises my currency. Moving rich with no sense of urgency. I'm valuable, I'm meant for good things. I deserve all the fortune the stars bring. This is Empress card energy. This is prosecco luxury. My chakras are aligned. I'm looking extra fine. Wealth is my frequency. If I want it, it's mine. Ding ding ding, another text from the universe. Ping ping ping, watch the funds disperse. It's safe for me to be financially free. Ding ding ding, another text from the universe. Ping ping ping, watch the funds disperse. It's safe for me to be financially free. Ring ring ring, money's calling me.
The song that you just heard is called Text from the Universe, and it is from my debut album, Ethereal Pop Alchemist. You can listen to Ethereal Pop Alchemist on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, iHeart, and really anywhere else that you stream music at. If there's an area that we missed, reach out to the Luanova team and let us know so that I can make sure my music has been distributed there as well. Okay? Because I want it everywhere. I don't know if it's on SoundCloud, for instance, so I doubt it actually, but that might be an area that we need to get it added to. But it is on the major platforms, all right? Oh, and it's on YouTube as well. I never mention YouTube ever, because when I tell you that I don't go to my YouTube, I have a YouTube for Luanova, I have a YouTube for my music, but Text from the Universe was written by me, produced by me, composed by me. And there are variations of my vocals as well, like I said, on every single song that I've done. And the good news is that there is another album of mine coming out in June. So I will tell you more about that. It's only 4 songs. I wrote those strictly for manifesting during the summertime. I think that many of you are going to enjoy listening to them all year round, but I'm excited to tell you more about that one. But before I get too far into that, I want to tell you the channeled message that I have from Goddess Aphrodite. And so Goddess says to us, stop negotiating your worth in rooms that were never built to hold your fullness. So that's the first message. This is not a good week for you to shrink. It's also not a good week for you to edit what it is that you actually want to say. You don't need to sugarcoat something just to make it easier to digest to somebody else. This is also a week that you need to remember that your desire is not something that you ever chase. Okay? You become aligned with it, but you don't chase it. Okay. And she has a question. Where have you been waiting to be chosen? Because I want you to choose yourself, and louder this time and without apology. And as far as for the lover girls and the lover boys, she says love is not meant to feel like you're proving anything. It's meant for you to feel like you are being recognized for the god or goddess that you are. Embody it. Because what does a god or goddess expect? They expect devotion. Because they give that right back. If it feels like you're straining, you're not in the wrong story. You're simply standing in the wrong version of your story. Okay, so yes, it's your story, but it's not the right version. It's almost like a Wattpad version of your story instead of the Audible version. Okay, get it? Let what is meant for you respond to you without confusion. Okay, you don't become worthy. You remember what you already were. Okay? I'm sorry, already are. Oops. All right. And so I am going to probably channel a little bit more so that I can perfect that message and write it down. I actually like to physically write it down. Yes, you can put it in your tablet, your notes on your phone, things like that. But pen to paper just means so much more, especially when it comes to working with spirits in particular. The last thing I want to talk about before I close out the show is, speaking of working with spirits, is I want to pull up the listener who asked me to mention this. This is not the same listener from the last time that asked me this about this case in particular. And so trigger warning. I'm about to discuss the case about singer David and his victim, allegedly, and right now I have to say allegedly, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, okay? And so this comes from, where'd you go? I can't see because there's a glare on my laptop. Christina. I'm on TikTok too much. This comes from Christina, who is, I can't see where you're from because there's a glare. Okay, so Christina, I might have to make up where you're from because I can't see. Florida? Is that where I'm looking at? I think you're in Florida. I think that's an F. Can't see. Let me, you know what? I would rotate my laptop, but it's going to hit the microphone. So we're going to say that you're in Florida, Christina. She asked me for energetically an update regarding Celeste and the singer named David, or you might have seen his name spelled D4VD. That is how he spells his stage name. Energetically, I can tell you that there's a lot of silence from what I'm gathering from Celeste. I've always been really careful about what I say anytime somebody hasn't given me their express consent. That includes spirits, okay? And one thing that happened that I will be open with is that at the beginning of this case, I was completely enthralled, not only because I had a really rough childhood and a rough, meaning, I'm not saying that, my mother was neglectful at all. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that a lot of bad things happened to me in my childhood. And because of it, I know firsthand that predators look for people like that. Okay. And so with Celeste, I wanted her spirit to feel safe with me, and that I wasn't just going to get on the microphone and try to make money from talking about her case, because I've seen that way too much with a lot of so-called mediums and tarot readers. Okay. And so when I connected with her energy, she would move one of my lights. She would make it go back and forth. And that's all I'm really going to say about that spiritual connection. I'm going to leave it at that. But I think the reason why that was the case is that my kitchen is all Hello Kitty. I've been a Hello Kitty collector my whole life, and pink has been my favorite color my whole life. So I think she knew I meant what I said, and unfortunately, I myself was a victim of a predator. And the difference is that I got to make it to adulthood. And so I think that for those of us who did get to make it to adulthood, it's important that we speak out for victims who didn't. And so I can just say that when it comes to Celeste, there's a lot of silence. When it comes to a spirit passing, that silence can be because they're at peace. It can be because they really don't want to interact with anybody that they don't actually physically know. Sometimes they will pick people like myself to attach to. And I think that every time I think of her, I always see her eyes watering, and then my eyes begin to water just instinctively. And so that tells me that there's so much heartbreak here on her end. And so the only update I can give you is that it's just complete silence on her end. That's it. There's nothing else there. And I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, well, she said this and this. None of that happened. None of that happened. Okay. And and it can happen even when you are connected with spirits that you do know. For instance, Hoshi's spirit pops up here and there. It's with me all the time, yes, but sometimes he wants me to know he's here. Think about what a little tiny furry spirit would do. It's going to be near your ankles, right? Or it's going to, mess with things that he messed with in this physical realm, right? My aunt recently passed away, and the circumstances around her death have really messed with my mental health, to be honest with you. And so because her and I would not have seen eye to eye spiritually, I assumed she would not really have a lot to say to me. But her spirit let me know that essentially she heard what I said. You know what I mean? But her spirit is still in a transitional phase. She is with my cousins, her two sons. She is with them heavily, especially the oldest one, who is not really, I won't get too far into it, but sometimes men feel like they can't express themselves, especially Latin men. My cousins are both Mexican American, so you can kind of understand the machismo, etc. And so I think that she knows she's needed there more than anything. And so that's what I mean. When you connect with a spirit, you can see and feel those things. Some people can physically see spirits. I am somebody who can hear them and feel their presence heavily. And I will say about Celeste, just to get back to her, that this case is about her. And I need you all to understand that. And it's 4:56, 4:56 on the clock. So that's confirmation that, I take that as confirmation that she is okay with what I'm saying. She needs people like me, people like you, those of you who have survived trauma, to keep speaking up. It's not a matter of trying to channel her. It's a matter of us saying that's enough. We are not going to put up with the misogyny. We are not going to overlook what happened to her and girls like her. We are not going to keep overlooking disgusting men who go out of their way to not only hurt children, but to hurt women. Okay? It's happening way too often. We are living in a world in the United States and beyond the United States, but because I live here, I have to talk about the U.S., where the administration is full of pedophiles, where the administration overlooks pedophilia, where we can't trust our own government. And so, as a witch, I will never be silent about that, although this is not a political podcast. And so, I think that's the best way for us to channel her energy and to transmute it into something that helps other people. So if you have a platform, I don't care if you have 10 followers and you're brand new to being an influencer, keep speaking up. You don't have to go into depth about your own story. You don't have to go into depth about hers. But it is important for you to say, when you see something that is off, to speak about it. To say, that misogyny, not cute. That red pill content, disgusting. Say something. Okay? When us millennials, what did we learn in school? See something, say something. Well, that applies here. It does. Because there's too many incels and manosphere fans, I guess, that hate themselves so much that they take it out on women and children who have the light that they wish they had. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to ever sit back and not say anything about it. I need you all to also understand something. I need the witches to understand something. Keep hexing. Absolutely. Don't ever apologize or feel bad that you hexed a rapist or a pedophile. Sorry, I should have given another trigger warning there. But don't ever apologize for that. But also understand that those people hex themselves. The more negative energy you create, the more disgusting energy you create, what does that build, friend? Momentum. And what happens when that momentum grows and grows and grows? It becomes too big for the person that created it. See, we do it the opposite here. We do it the positive way here. But see, they don't want to go that route. They don't want to go that route. They want to hurt other people. They want to hurt the families of these people. They want to hurt these girls and women and children. And so they think that, well, I hate myself, so I have to take this person's light. But you know what? You didn't. You couldn't. It's impossible. It's not possible. And so the one message that I'm going to say, and eventually this is going to be in a song, because, and not me plugging my music, I promise. It's going to be in a song because it's exactly how I see a lot of us. The reason why my podcast is called New Moon, it translates to new moon. And the reason why I have a heavy association and love for the moon is because what does the moon do? It illuminates. And what is the one thing that you can't do with the moon? You can't turn it off. You absolutely can't turn it off. And so, one thing that I'm going to leave you all with is that I don't like the moon. You can't fade. You reveal. That's what you're supposed to do. Like the moon, you also don't fight darkness. You define it. Okay? And you don't dim. Because the moon, it brings what? Clarity. It turns darkness into what? Reflection. And so that is what you are going to do for people like Celeste, and even for yourselves. Be your own advocate. Okay? Be like the moon. Go right into the darkness and say, you wouldn't survive without me. And I'm still here, and you didn't burn me out. Okay. All right, new moons. That is the long PSA that I gave you, but I wanted to give you updates. Thank you again to Christina, who we're assuming is from Florida because I can't see anything. That looks like an F to me. All right, new moons. Thank all the new moons for aligning with the frequency of the Lua Nova podcast. If you have any questions or you'd like to learn more about Lua Nova, if you want to listen to the Ethereal Pop Alchemist album, any of the above, or you want to learn more about me, go to luanovapodcast.net. Okay. And if you want to submit a case to Court of the New Moon, which is a spinoff of Lua Nova, you can do so by going to courtofthenewmoon.com. I want to take a moment to thank the following people. These are my people for real because I see some repeats. Shout out to Shauna from Louisiana, Tori in Atlanta, Noah who's in Arizona. I think I can't see that. Is that what is the sun is just front and center today. I'm near a window, guys. Dante, who's located at looks like out of Houston. What does that say? Asia, who is located, I am struggling over here. Asia, you know what? I'm just going to say I'm going to say your names. And did you guys hear the dryer? You might have heard the dryer. Asia, Cassian, Zeta. I hope I said that right. Dee and there's one more of you. AW. I want to thank all of you for your Cash Apps this week. Thank you so much, and I'll tell you more about how you can send in a Cash App if you want to. You absolutely don't have to, because how you can support the show is, here's one way. You can join the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/the Lua Nova Podcast. You can download the Patreon app and look up the Lua Nova Podcast, whichever way works best for you. And yes, if you want to contribute via Venmo or Cash App, the Venmo username is the @Lua Nova, and the Cash App username is $Lua Nova Podcast. Check the show notes because the Venmo and Cash App usernames are always in the show notes, as well as the links that I just went over with you. And I know what did I just say I was about to tell you and I forgot? That's not good. That's hunger talking. So I'm going to wrap this up, new moons. I hope that you enjoyed dancing to text from the universe. I hope that you enjoyed today's reading. Let me know how it resonated with you, especially you, Aries and Taurus. I want to hear from you. I definitely want to hear from you. Give me your feedback. Remember, luanovapodcast.net. Have a safe rest of your week. Be kind to people. Why do I say that so much? Because when it comes to the manifestation community, there's so much ego. There's so much, I'm better than you. I know more than you. I manifested this. I'm higher. I'm more enlightened than you. And so this is why I say be kind to people, because you're not aware of what their journey is. And the second that you remove empathy from your manifestations, you already lost, in my opinion. So I'll talk to you next week, new moons. Ciao, ciao. Wait, what week is this? There might be a Court of the New Moon episode this week. I don't really know. I know that I have to redo the Who is Josie the Mustang episode. I have to do a new one. But I don't know if I'm going to cram all of those into this week. Who knows? Just keep hitting refresh. Keep checking those notifications. All right, new moons. Ciao, ciao.